Hello everyone, and welcome back to this course. I hope that you enjoyed the Eid, which was very unusual by all measures. But anyway, I wish you all the best in your life and in your professional and academic endeavors. Today we're going to start with a new chapter, chapter number 14, which deals with aspects of connected speech. As you all know, whenever we talk, we don't actually pronounce single words at once. We tend to merge different words together when we speak in a normal speech style. So we tend to connect different words and syllables together. So today we're going to talk about the different aspects of connected speech. And the first aspect we're going to talk about today is something that we call rhythm, which in Arabic means النغمة. So rhythm, generally, that's a general definition, is an event happening at regular intervals of time. Intervals means break. So it's just like a heartbeat. Have you ever listened to a heartbeat? It's different tones that take place at different intervals of time. Dun, dun. So there is some kind of stop in between these different tones. So rhythm generally means any sound, any event that happens between different or regular intervals of time. Now let's move to the term of rhythm in language, speech rhythm. What does the term speech rhythm really mean? So speech rhythm is the regular occurrence of a stressed syllable at a regular interval of time. As you all know, we already talked about how language, whenever we talk, whenever we use language, we actually pronounce language in terms of syllables rather than in terms of a separate sounds. Syllables. And these syllables, they are sometimes stressed, they are sometimes unstressed. So rhythm refers to the occurrence of stressed syllables at a regular interval of time. It means that the times that we pronounce the stressed syllables when we speak. So we don't really count the unstressed syllable, because whenever we speak, the rhythm is set by the number of stressed syllables. يعني وحدة قياس الرhythm بمعنى آخر هو عدد المقاطع المشددة, stressed syllable. Rhythm in English. Now English as a language is always described as a language with a stressed time rhythm. Stressed time rhythm. It means that whenever we want to measure the rhythm of English, the speech of English and connected speech, we have to measure the stressed syllables only. Anything between two stressed syllables wouldn't count because each stressed syllable and the following syllables until we get to the next stressed syllable will be pronounced in more or less the same time. So the unit of rhythm in English is called foot. Foot, of course you know that the literal meaning of the word foot in Arabic means qadam, but in this context it means as if the word تفعيلة في الشعر. في الشعر الفوت تسمى التفعيلة، وهي وحدة قياس البحور الشعرية اللي نسميها ميتر، أعتقد درسها سابقا. In English pronunciation, foot is the unit of rhythm, تفعيلة الكلام. So English, unlike some other languages, has a stressed time rhythm. Stressed times rhythm. Other languages has syllable timed rhythm. Syllable timed rhythm. بمعنى بسيط وبشرح مبسط جدا باللغة العربية. عندنا نوعين من الرhythm، نوعين من التنغيمات خلينا نسميها. لغات النغمة بها تعتمد على المقطع المشدد، ولغات تعتمد بها النغمة على المقطع بغض النظر إن كان مشدد أو لا. فمثلا الإنجليزية الوقت اللي نحتاجه حتى نلفظ المسافة ما بين مقطع مشدد ومقطع مشدد آخر هي تقريبا مسافة واحدة بغض النظر عن عدد المقاطع الغير مشددة الموجودة بيناتهم. يعني we'll see some examples and explain this. In French on the other hand في اللغة الفرنسية من ناحية أخرى راح نشوف أنه الرhythm يعتمد على عدد المقاطع، مو على عدد المقاطع المشددة، على عدد المقاطع. فنعامل المقطع المشدد نفس معاملة المقطع الغير مشدد. لكن في الإنجليزية الرhythm يعتمد على عدد المقاطع المشددة، وبهذا تهمل المقاطع الغير مشددة، لأن النغمة تحكمها عدد المقاطع المشددة فقط وتهمل غير المشددة. لكن بالفرنسية لا، كل المقاطع تأخذ بنظر الاعتبار وتأخذ نفس الوقت في اللفظ بغض النظر إن كانت مشددة أو غير مشددة. This is the difference between stress time rhythm, which is the rhythm that we have in English, and syllable timed rhythm, which is the type of rhythm that we have in French. The unit of rhythm is called foot, as I said. Foot begins with, so in English, a foot begins with a stressed syllable and includes all the unstressed syllables up to, but not including, the following stressed syllables. So let's see the example. Now look at these two sentences. I'm going to pronounce these sentences very slowly first, and then you will see the difference when I pronounce it as connected speech. He arrived 6 o'clock. He arrived 6 o'clock. And this is, now count how many syllables we have. He, syllable number 1, syllable number 2, arrived, 3, 6, 4, 5, clock, 6. So in this sentence we have 6 different syllables. Let's count. Now, even though we have 6 syllables, but we don't really have 6 foot. Now we have 3 different foots only. Why? Because we only in English we only count the strong syllable, the stress syllables. Now, how many stress syllables do we have here? He is not strong because this is a function word, and function word is usually weak. The word arrive has 2 syllables. The first one is weak, the second one is strong, so we count the strong only. So the time that we need to pronounce this foot from he until arrived is just one interval. We pronounce it as if it is a single piece. Then we have 6, another stress syllable, that's foot number 2, and then we have which is merged with 6 because this is a stressed syllable. And then we have clocked, another stressed syllable. So we have only 3 feet, because we have only 3 stressed syllables. Let me explain it in Arabic to make it easy for you. هذه الجملة مكونة من 6 مقاطع مختلفة. حتى نحسب عدد التفعيلات الموجودة بها ما نحسب المقاطع. طبعا لو كانت هذه الجملة باللغة الفرنسية كنا ببساطة قلنا 6 مقاطع تساوي 6 تفعيلات. لكن في الإنجليزية لا نحسب، يعني احتساب عدد التفعيلات لا نحسب عدد المقاطع، وإنما نحسب عدد المقاطع المشددة حصرا. فإذا لاحظنا هذه المقاطع 6 راح نلاحظ أن 3 منها فقط هي مقاطع مشددة، اللي هي arrived 6 وclock. فقط هذه المقاطع هي المشددة. فعند احتساب عدد التفعيلات نقول أنه هذه الجملة التي تحتوي على 6 مقاطع تحتوي على 3 تفعيلات فقط، لأن في الإنجليزية لاحتساب التفعيلات نحسب المقاطع المشددة فقط. نعم موجودة 6 مقاطع، لكن 3 منها غير مشددة و3 مشددة، ولاحتساب التفعيلة نحسب المشدد فقط. فبالنتيجة صار عندنا 6 تفعيلات فقط. But what does that mean? It means that the time that we need to say the first foot, which begins from he until arrived, equals the time, more or less, of course, equals the time that we need to pronounce the second stressed or the second foot, which starts from 6 until O. And this also requires the same time that we need to pronounce the third foot, which is clock. يعني شنو معنى الفوت؟ شنو معنى التفعيلة؟ التفعيلة هو أنه نحتاج تقريبا نفس الوقت للفظ كل تفعيلة في الجملة. بما أنه عندنا هذه الجملة 3 تفعيلات، إذا إحنا نحتاج نفرض الوقت اللي نحتاجه لنفرض هذه الجملة بشكل يعني طبيعي، لنفرض احتاجنا 10 ثواني. فالاحتساب عدد الوقت اللي نحتاجه لكل تفعيلة نحتاج تقريبا 3.3 من الثانية. ف he arrived foot يحتاج نفس الوقت اللي نحتاج حتى نلفظ 6 clock. هذه هي تقسيم التفعيلات، لأن في الإنجليزية طريقة اللفظ يعتمد على التفعيلة، وكل تفعيلة لازم وقت لفظها يساوي التفعيلات الأخرى. واحتساب التفعيلة من خلال تبدي بمقطع مشدد وتنتهي بمقطع آخر مشدد، وأي مقطع غير مشدد بين المقطعين المشددين هذين تدمج في المقطع في التفعيلة الأولى، مثل ما شفنا كلمة he arrived تفعيلة واحدة. لاحظ أن صح هي 3 مقاطع لكن تفعيلة واحدة. 6 تفعيلة واحدة من مقطعين، وclock تفعيلة واحدة من مقطع واحد. كل تفعيلة تحتاج وقت مقارب لما تحتاج التفعيلة الأخرى. That's the main point. So we say it as this in connected speech. He arrived 6 o'clock. He arrived 6 o'clock. Walked down to the path to the end of the canal. The same manner, we count the number of stressed syllables to count the number of feet. I hope that was easy. No, don't worry. That wouldn't be required in the exam. I just wanted to explain it to you. I know it's a bit difficult to you, so don't worry. This is not going to be included in the exam. I just want you to understand what the term rhythm and rhythm means and how it is connected to the term or the concept of foot in English pronunciation. Now, in the exam, we're going to focus on different aspects of connected speech. We're going to talk about assimilation, which means idgham. We also are going to talk about the concept of elision, hadith, and finally we're going to talk about linking, الربط. So in this chapter we're going to talk about 4 main aspects. The first one is rhythm, which we already talked about, and we saw how English has stress time rhythm, and we talked about the concept of foot. In the next lecture we're going to talk about assimilation, idgham, and the different types of assimilation, including the direction of assimilation and the types of change in assimilation. That would be the next lecture. After we are done with this, we're going to talk about elision, the third lecture in this series of lecture. We're going to talk about elision, الحذف, حذف بعض الأصوات, and the rules of elisions, and then we will move on to linking, ربط. Sometimes we insert certain sounds in the middle, and we're going to talk about the rules of linking. So by this we're going to end this lecture. So we only discussed the first part, which deals with rhythm. On Thursday we're going to talk about assimilation and the rules of assimilation. I hope that was clear and straightforward. Thank you very much, and we will meet soon, hopefully.